get ready.
Hello, and welcome to the Ident Review, the show where we have a good look and chat about the various television idents that we have come to know and love over the years. And for this instalment, we'll be taking a look at the most recent batch of idents for ITV Creates. Another month, another round of brand new idents for us to delve into. ITV Creates has concluded its 7th month, and hopefully, like the 6 months before it, July will be home to some brilliantly original, fantastically created sequences. Only one way to find out. Let's get cracking on them with our first few variants of July, created by resident artist Yvette Hawkins.
Good morning. As a new week dawns, we have another fresh look on ITV with resident artist Yvette Hawkins taking on the challenge. To find out more, search ITV Creates for all the details. Now though, after that scorcher of a weekend, it's time to kickstart your Monday with Good Morning Britain.
Katie Tunstall searches for her birth father tonight as she joins Nikki and Davina in the new series of Long Lost Family, here at 9. Now kick-starting your week, it's This Morning. We're in Emmerdale tonight and Victoria has to face one of her greatest fears. That's here at 7. Time to pop your feet up now and catch up with the Loose Women. With a look at all the very latest from around the world now, it's the ITV Lunchtime News. Tonight, with their first celebrity search, Nikki and Davina help Katie Tunstall find her birth father. It's Long Lost Family at 9. It's over to the Duke now for Real Deal.
A very interesting way to kick things off. First off, I love the whole concept Yvette has gone for, a style of origami where several smaller pieces of work are joined together to ultimately form the ITV logo. And if you take the time to look at each individual piece, you'll see remnants of a map. And if you take a look at the behind-the-scenes video of this set, Yvette herself explains how this motif represents the unification of people, despite their geographical differences. I also really enjoyed the colour scheme for this set, the red background blending perfectly with the colours of the origami, without totally overshadowing it, as red so often can do. I would argue, at least for me personally, that this set isn't going to be one that I remember instantly when I think of ITV Creates, but it still definitely is a winner, and I'm sure it will have its fans. Now then, let's move along to the work of our second resident artist today, Julia Vogel.
6 a.m. Monday morning and welcome to a brand new week. We're here on ITV. We've got another fresh look for you with resident artist Julia Vogel taking on the challenge. And if you want to find out more, all you have to do is search ITV Creates for all the details. Kickstarting your Monday morning now with the latest news and entertainment, it's time to say Good Morning Britain.
Make sure you stick around and join the Loose Women live from 12:30 with today's guest Emmerdale's Fiona Wade. But first, Philip and Rochelle are here to kickstart this brand new week with a jam-packed show on This Morning. Davina McCall and Nikki Campbell are back tonight here on ITV with more amazing reunion stories. The brand new series of Long Lost Family continues at 9. But now Emmerdale's Fiona Wade is today's guest, joining the ladies to start the week on Loose Women. The dealers will be assessing items brought in by the people of Hartlepool in half an hour, but will they take the cash on the table or gamble at the auction to get the real deal? Find out at 2, right after the ITV Lunchtime News.
Warwick Davis welcomes a team of fish and chip shop workers to take on the Tower this afternoon. See how they get on in Tenable in an hour. But first, we're in Hartlepool for today's Dickinson's Real Deal.
This one for sure gives me that art installation vibe. Once again, like the previous set, the colour scheme used here is absolutely gorgeous. Taking a more rainbow themed approach, but positioning the individual colours in a way that really makes each one pop out from one another. I also really like the actual artwork on each of the paints too, although I would have liked some more variety in each of them. I can understand that by doing this it may have made the zoomed out image through the ITV cutout look a bit strange or incorrect, however I'm sure there would have been some work way around it. Having said that, it's still a really nice piece of artwork, even if I think it would be better placed as an installation in an art gallery as opposed to being broadcast on the telly. I feel the impact would be greater seeing this piece in real life, but still, that's not to take away from Julia's artistry. Next up for the day, let's take a look at the work presented by resident artist 121 Collective.
Good morning. As a new week dawns, we have another fresh look on ITV with resident artist 121 Collective taking on the challenge. To find out more, search ITV Creates for all the details. Now though, time to kickstart the new week with the team on Good Morning Britain.
Davina McCall and Nikki Campbell are back tonight at 9 with more amazing reunion stories in Long Lost Family. But now Ruth and Eamon are here to take us through to lunchtime, kicking off this brand new week on This Morning. Davina and Nikki help more families reunite in a highly emotional episode of Long Lost Family tonight. The new series continues at 9 o'clock. However, your lunchtime with us here on ITV continues now, live with the Loose Women. 5 old schoolmates from Dover will be joining Warwick later to try and score the perfect 10. See how they get on in Tenable at 3. But now a look at all the stories making the headlines this lunchtime with the very latest ITV News. See if 5 old schoolmates from Dover can start the week with a big money win in Tenable this afternoon at 3. First on ITV, Dickinson's Real Deal.
This has that classic sense of Britishness about it, I think. There's just something about the way this structure has been designed that makes me feel like I could view this piece at a British seaside. The sign underneath the ITV logo that says On Sea further reinforces my view here. I love how you could pause this sequence and just look over every last little bit of detail that has been placed into the structure, all the different parts that make it up and the different elements that make it tick. My main criticism would have been that it would have been absolutely amazing to see a different structure with each variant. I know that that's an incredibly huge ask because, let's face it, the amount of time this must have taken to create and put together must have been immense. So to expect them to do that 4 or 5 times over is maybe a little bit much. However, for what it is, it's truly a stunning piece of work. Again, not one that I would remember instantly, but one that if I did come across, I would look back on and watch fondly. Probably one of the best structures that we've seen across all of ITV Creates so far. Finally, to round off today, let's take a look at the work of our final residential artists for July, Emily Downing and Olivia Weston.
Morning and welcome to a brand new week where we've got another fresh look for you on ITV with resident artists Emily Downing and Olivia Weston taking on the challenge. And if you'd like to find out more, all you need to do is search ITV Creates for all the details. So we're getting straight into Monday morning now with the best way to start your day. With the latest news, sport, entertainment and weather, it's time to say, Good Morning Britain. Join Nikki and Davina for more remarkable searches as the new series of Long Lost Family continues tonight at 9, including the bride who has put her wedding on hold until she finds her birth mother. Back to This Morning now on ITV, quite literally, with Eamon and Ruth. In the last year, over 4,000 people from across the UK have contacted the Long Lost Family team, asking to help find missing family members, including a bride who has put her wedding on hold until she finds her birth mother. You can see that search for yourself at 9. Right now, it's Monday's Loose Women. Time to catch up on the top stories making the headlines at home and abroad now this Monday lunchtime with the very latest ITV News. The new series of Long Lost Family continues tonight with a wedding on hold until the bride finds her birth mother. Join Nikki and Davina at 9. Back to this afternoon and we're in Milton Keynes now for Dickinson's Real Deal.
Sadly, I find this one a bit of a lacklustre ending. The motif used here is that of henna art, where intricate patterns and designs are painted onto people's hands and arms. It's an art form I think is really beautiful, and indeed the patterns look really nice here, especially when they come together to form the ITV logo. But aside from that central concept, there's nothing much else to keep or hook the interest of those watching. Sure, we see snippets of the artist applying the henna to various hands, and I always like seeing behind the scenes in these clips, as it gives us some insight into how the artists work. But there's no real variation between different sequences, no new colour schemes added or twists in designs. I just wish there was something more within each of these to help me remember the sequence as a standout. There's still some great work from the two artists, and that work shouldn't be discredited, but for me, it's definitely not a favourite, or one that I'm likely to remember as the months go by. Overall, July I feel has been a very mixed month for ITV Creates. There are some really strong standouts such as the work by Yvette and her use of origami, and the 121 Collective with their infinitely detailed beach-like structure. But there are also those that don't land for me quite as well. Julia's work is beautiful, but I feel is better suited to be observed for real in art galleries, and Emily and Olivia's henna work, although stunning in its own right, seems limited in terms of the variation shown. However, all four of these artists show, as ITV Creates artists generally do, their unique take, perspective and interpretation of what ITV is supposed to mean. It does stand for independent television after all, supposed to represent us all, and for these artists to let us into their creative worlds and show us what they view that as, continues to be just as fascinating, more than halfway into the initiative. And so we've come to the end, but before we go, the final words from our broadcaster. That was all this week for this instalment of the Ident Review. I hope you all enjoyed watching it, and we hope that you tune in next week. We have many programs that you can tune into throughout the week, or broadcast at 8 PM. Overthinking on Monday, the Hits Review on Tuesday, and the Sunday Catch-Up on Sunday, to name a few. But until then, have a good week, and we hope that you join us again soon. Good night.